Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And brothers and sisters, sincerely, I want to start. Thank you. Thank you to all who may tune in, may join, may share your support. Blessings and love to you all. I am honest and genuine about that wish. Today, there's a little different energy in the Talcottian one. And I'll get into that, but I'm going to do my best to share some joy, some inspirations. But today there's a different power within me. Feels more like strength and determination, less of playful and joyful. And so if you can just flow with the changes of today, maybe we can still share some good inspirations and some ideas. And I'll explain me a little bit more. Part of it is there in the back. Forgive them, Jack. They know not what they do. Put that there to remind me today. The topic, though, sincerely, manifest the life you desire. Right here on this thumbnail in the graphics is the clear, obvious path to success. In any ambition, anything you want to accomplish, become clear. Become clear on what you want and why you want it. Become clear. Ask God, ask Source for it, and take action towards your goal. Express gratitude daily and let go of what holds you back. Trust, believe, and finally receive what you desire. Those are the path to success. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that want to cast doubt on me and say that I'm not worthy of listening to, but you figure it out. You know the truth. You know what is real. Clarity of mind, it begins with an open and an honest heart. If you want a clear mind, if you want a clarity in your goals, you need to know why, you need to know what, and that can only happen if you're honest. If you're not just self-centered and you're thinking about the effects and the consequences, what is it you're going after? Why are you doing as you're doing? Clarity of mind begins with an open and honest heart. Aligning with the purpose and benefits of a heartfelt goal, it can fill your life with growth and success, but only you can choose your own heartfelt goal. So let go of that which no longer serves. See the blessings you might uncover should you decide to go after that which your heart really wants for you. And what my heart wants for you, for me, for all of us in this world, may we all walk in the divine faith, divine peace, divine love as shown through Christ Jesus. Let there be peace on this world for you, for those around you. The Talcottian part, I got a bunch of notes here, and I'll probably drop the link and see what the universe brings forth today. But you know, admittedly, after reviewing the stream yesterday and really questioning me, what's going on? Because besides the online mockery and antagonism, I've been rejected left and right, man. I have faced rejection and character assassinations like I have never in my wildest imagination. I never expected going through this, being rejected by people who I devoted my friggin' life to. And then being accused by people who had no part in my existence. Jack's faith is a little is challenged again today, but my determination is strong. But I am self-evaluating. Is this journey online, the daily commitment to stream and to offer these things, is this worth? Is it worth it? Because frankly, the people who are attacking me, they're right. Nothing has changed. Today, though, the topic. This is something I'm practicing in myself today, so I'm going to share it, right? The miracles of our mind. How powerful those dark and angry thoughts can become within us. Oh, I'm so helpless. Oh, I'm so alone. With a clear mind, absent of the worry, absent of the hate, absent of the fights, the peace can be known. And frankly, brothers and sisters, I'm tired of fighting. I'm really tired of fighting. And the only thing I want is peace in this world. And yet, here, let's get to some notes. So, the topic of today, miracles of the mind, clarity versus confusion. Only you will know or ignore your own levels of confusion, but all of us have it. We all go through periods of confusion. We all go through periods where we don't, points and different times in our life where we do not have the answers. But if you allow your mind to create the answers for you rather than what is real, you're going to start living in a pretend world that has no connection to reality. Some of these characters, for those who have been a part of this, Snafu Snaps, Margot Davy, their enabler, chemo against me, these people are disconnected from reality. They are literally insane. This world we live in, brothers and sisters, is filled with insane people who think they know better than God. I used to be one of those insane people. I used to think that I knew and it was just me and God doesn't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows my problems. Nobody knows my sorrows. God knows. God knows it all. It is our choices through the day, throughout the times and the moments of our day. Those choices are driving our lives. Okay? So where are you driving you? Where are you driving others? Are you driving yourself insane with patterns of worry, unhealthy habits? Are you repeating the damaging, self-sabotaging ways of the past? Or are you focused on the growth, focused on overcoming, right? Because that is the true nature of who we are, the Christic. The Christic is the overcoming. And I was thinking about this observation earlier, right? We're here to overcome and to heal. And that is the way of Christ. That's the way of nature. That's the way of God. And those who are walking around with wounds, there's a lot of people that are walking around with wounds, with sensitivities. I guess I'm openly expressing some of mine at the beginning of this, but these wounds, they're signs that we're not quite healed. Now, true healing may have some scars, but those scars from the past wounds, the emotional wounds, the physical wounds, those past scars can actually become our strengths, right? Because it's evidence of our overcoming. One of the scars on my reputation is my disease of drinking. I carried that disease with me for a long time. But I'm not wounded from what I did to myself in the past. I'm overcoming. And so are you. What truly brings the overcoming through us and for us is the miracle working power of Christ. That miracle working power of Christ is what manifests our life. It's the power of God that brings the life into being. And where did I put this? Oh, miracles of mind, clarity versus confusion. Some of the thoughts I was considering is the idea of manifestation. There's a lot of new age, there's a lot of different people today teaching these powers of the mind, right? The ability to manifest things in your life. What does it mean to manifest? To be sure, I looked it up myself earlier, and this is what Google gave me for manifest. Clear or obvious to the eye or mind, right? The system's manifest failings, those things we can see and cognize, to display or show by one's acts or appearance, to demonstrate. He manifested signs of severe depression. So to manifest is just to become clear or obvious to the eye or mind. Anything you want to experience, create, anything that starts in your imagination, well, that's the first manifestation. The first creation of anything that is in this world, the laptop I'm using, the speaker, the signs, everything, it started as an idea. It's through the power of the mind, clarity on the goal that someone wanted to create these things. And then they took the actions. They said, this is why I want this. This is what I want. They took the actions and boom, it comes forth. Holy cows. That's how time works. You just put a little effort and you do a little thing. You plant the seeds now so that you can reap the rewards later. You put in the effort, you make the sacrifices, you dedicate yourself, and you have clarity. And then you have the peace of knowing that through God, all things are possible. One of the things that's been shown to me very, very clearly in my life, it is not me who controls the results. It's not me who controls the opportunities. God controls the opportunities. God controls the results. When I say God, I'm talking about the unseen forces, the infinite number of variables that can be involved in, rolling some dice and having the right number show up. There's actually infinite number of variables involved in that, between the friction of the dice, the friction of the table, how much energy and velocity is placed into the throw. Life can be complicated. Life can be overwhelming. Life can be joyful. Life can be beautiful. Life can be anything your heart desires. If you give permission to your mind, give permission to your mind, say, it's okay. It's okay for me to believe in this dream. It's okay for me to believe that wars can end, that immediate reforms can be brought through the entire world. It's okay for me to believe in that. Why? Because I'm committed to that. I'm committed to it, and I'm willing to take any actions. I'm willing to sacrifice my entire life, my entire reputation, everything I have. Why? Because in my mind, I have the belief that wars can end, that ceasefires can be declared, that immediate reforms can be brought forth into the world. But hey, maybe all these people who want to convince you otherwise about me, maybe they're right. Maybe I should give up. Not without a fight. So the way of Christ, the way we want to live each day, is with clarity in the mind. If you're running around with confusion, egoic pride, memories of bitterness and revenge and hate and fear and all the character crap you want to imagine, make yourself feel important. You can live the life you want, however you want. I mean, there's truth been told in so many different ways. You can even point to the evil, to the darkness. Aleister Crowley, he said it right, do as thou wilt. You can do whatever you want. You can live as miserable, as small, as bitter, or as great as you want. I encourage you, if you accept within your heart, if you accept within your mind that this life is for you to live as you want, I encourage you to consider, what if you set the goal for you? What if you became clear on what you wanted and what you wanted, why you wanted it, and what if what you really, really wanted was to be filled with divine faith, divine love, divine peace? What if that was your goal and you could see why that would be so beneficial to walk with peace and love and faith? And then turn to God, turn to the highest source that you can find within you, in the depths and the outermost reaches of your imagination. Reach to God, to the source of answers, because it's through God that the truth is revealed. And if you don't have the truthful answers, you're going to be running around in a mind of confusion. And a mind of confusion creates delusions where people think politics are real. Politics are so important. We gotta vote for the celebrity on the red side and the blue side, and this picking sides. This picking sides is part of the organized exploitation that this economic system we're all trying to survive through. This organized exploitation we call capitalism in America. It's the land of the confused. And with that, I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and drop the link, and we'll see where this day may go. I'm in a mood, though, for sure. I'm trying to be kind, trying to be gentle. Not trying, it is my intention to be kind, to be gentle, but at the same time, some of the nonsense and the arrogance that's been entertained here with me, I'm pretty sure many of you are along the same lines where you're kind of done with it. We got our first guest. I'm going to bring him up in just a moment. I went through my whole life. How long did you buy into the lie of capitalism without faith? I had faith in economics since I was 17. I remember as a soldier on active duty making the stupid comment, our nation needs a good war to help the economy. Once I found love, I started seeing through the lies. And hey, welcome to you both, my friends.
Yes. So, Jack, in your monologue in today's show, you claimed that Margot and Officer Snaps don't understand the mind of God, and you implied that you do.
Oh,
But
Hank, he
God's
also said they're
incomprehensible.
insane. He
Yes.
also said they're insane.
Yes. Well, they probably. Well, I'm not going to make a diagnosis, but how can we
Snafu,
comprehend the
probably.
mind of God? I don't understand how you can assert that anyone can comprehend the infinite mind of God. I
You
don't
can't.
understand.
You can't.
Yeah.
What
But
if
if you
you
can't,
try? Here,
No, you can't.
hold on. You might think you can't. And if
Well,
you
I
think
talked to
that,
the dude.
Tom, the power of our mind, if we believe in limitations, guess what we find?
Cannot comprehend the thing that created your mind.
You don't have to understand it or comprehend it to the fullest. You have to understand it enough to
So
walk
before I
with
can add any value,
it.
you're just going to go
I'm
into
not going
words.
to argue. I didn't give you a warning, so I'm going to bring you up. But Tom, I am not entertaining arguments. We can have conversations.
Then how are you going to have a panel?
Without you.
Did you watch?
Okay, if the mind of God's infinite and we are finite, how are we going to comprehend it?
To the best of our ability. And what I found is the amount we think we need to know is not always what we need, right? We can understand things without all the details. And one of the best things that I found to understand is just how to be present. Because it is only right now that our life is happening. Tommy, I don't mean to be rude to you, but seriously, I'm not in the mood.
I'm going to be present. I'm going to be present right over on my channel, restreaming you, where everyone can chat and I can refer to your fucking bullshit.
Great. Go join the others. There's plenty of those who want to play those games. We've got Jack Skellington here, which I think is okay.
Test.
I heard it from him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, Jack. Thank you for your message. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that our creator is this being that we can't comprehend, but the truth of the matter is once you realize what you've been denied, once you realize the games they play with theology, it's pretty clear that we are designed to love. Love is the true gift of life. People like Tommy would rather come out and hate and think that they're right about everything that they say instead of admitting fault, that they're not perfect. I am not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I know I make mistakes. I know I have flaws, but that's what makes me who I am. I am just a fraction of the greatest life that there ever was, and I'm proud to be that. I don't see why it's so difficult for people to love instead of living in fear all the time. There's a wonderful book. I believe the title of the book is called How to Live in Love and Not Fear. Highly recommended to anybody that enjoys reading. I stopped slapping books and saying my book's better than your book a long time ago, and I'm all the better for it. If you see somebody suffering, you have a responsibility to that person out of love to help them. Too many people turn a blind eye. Too many people want to be a bystander. The Christ was not a bystander. He did not stand by and watch wickedness happen. He went in, he was pissed off, he flipped tables. He told you, don't be a victim, buy a sword if you have to. Too many people just think that it's a nicey nice game. As long as I'm patient and I turn the other cheek and keep getting slapped, that I'll be okay. You have to love yourself first. You have to love those around you. Too many people don't want to do that.
Thank you, Jack.
So, Mr. Skellington, I looked for that book, How to Live in Love and Not Fear. I couldn't find it on Amazon, and I can't find it in the Carnegie Library system.
Do you got Discord, Hank?
Yes. I'll drop my Discord in the back so you can send me the link.
Yes, sir. I definitely will. Thank you. And Hank, also, I know I don't get to talk to you very often, but I've watched you quite a bit, and I'm a pretty big fan of yours, and I hope you find that special girl of your dreams.
Thank you.
Jack, real cool, brother. Welcome, Machine Lies, too.
Greetings.
Greetings, brother. If I can jump in, unless you were jumping in, did you join with a thought? Let me be respectful.
Not specifically. Yeah,
okay.
I'm just here for the ride, as it were. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And Jack, sincerely, what you offered, this is what I realized. I love what you said. Once we realize what we've been denying ourselves, once we understand how much this world has lied to us, it can piss you off pretty bad. But the other part of it, I was reminded today, the true power, the true miracle. I mean, through Jesus, God revealed the message. And the message for us all was love. And what did Jesus show in that example? Showed healing. It showed strength. It showed faith. It showed loyalty. It showed compassion. It showed all of the great things in life that we can and we all want to embody. And the more I'm thinking, I don't know what the Bible talks about, a lot of different things regarding the past, the future. It applies to our present, but what the words specifically mean, you know, the blessings were those who are faithful will be blessed. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Blessings. I mean, I feel blessed, but the world and the facts around me say, no, Jack, you're kind of losing. You're kind of struggling, Jack. You're spinning your wheels. I got to accept the facts. What do I do to stop spinning my wheels?
Oh, so I find the answer pretty simple. We need to do better. We need to not be phonies. So, for example, Officer Snaps claims to have been just a prison chaplain or just a religious support person in his prison. Um, he doesn't sound like an effective priest, but he claims to be. But we need to do better than he. So we need to watch ourselves, check our own claims, and actually say, like I got walk the walk rather than just talk the talk, because the talk is not good enough.
Hey, speaking of the talk is not good enough, Paul, I see you in the back. I'm not bringing you up. I'm pretty well done with you. Have a nice life. So,
I heard Illuminatomi's doing a stream, Paul. Go over there.
yeah, there you go. That's, though they want each other's attention. I mean, you know, this is just what's so, the arrogance and the absolute hypocrisy of some of these people, like Snafu, Paul, Margot. They have really, well, there's a lot of evidence. They've gone out of their way to what? Attack my credibility? Why? My purpose is a better world for us all. Do you guys have any ideas? Why would they do that?
Oh, well, it's pretty simple. For Officer Snaps, he believes in a prophecy that we're going into martial law, and he feels that it will be better for him if it actually happened, if he went to martial law. There's no way that could be correct, because he can't even he can't travel anywhere significant because he doesn't have a motor vehicle to operate at the moment. But that's what his faith is in, a martial law to bail him out.
Well, yeah, he's thinking of himself. And Rusty, I have tried and tried and tried and tried to make peace with Paul. And, you know, things are what they are.
Have you thought about changing your methodology?
Yeah, that's why he's not here again.
All right, good.
And
Yeah.
and you know what? Yes, the fools like Margot, she's not welcome here either. This is the thing. And actually, that's what I could have reminded Paul of. Paul knows how to reach me privately. Margot knows how to reach me privately. If any of these fools want to actually have a discourse or get answers, I'm easily found. I'm easily reached. But all of these lies and accusations against me, that's not my problem to defend from anymore. Hey, Lizard Tree, I want to thank you. And I noticed You, Arpol, many people, Hank too. I've seen many people who have been supportive of me. You guys get like put in the fire as well. It's quite crazy. DeFreak, welcome.
I do it to save on my heating bill.
Well, I think one of my friends said a good thing the other day. He said that many people have broken hearts that they don't necessarily want them to heal, and they're sort of lashing out because of what's happened to them. And I got in an argument with a friend of mine, and one of the great comforts of this experience has been conversations. I've been able to get into some conversations with some people privately and publicly, and I think one of the arguments we had was about love and power. And power creates two things. It creates love and fear. Because of its overarching nature, its protection, and its ability to destroy things. So if we could align love with power and love with righteousness, as as a friend said, I'm in Christ. It's not about being nice. It's about being good. And
Amen. Well, it's the pattern that we're designed with. I mean, I don't really fault people. I know this is God's game, this is God's perfect design, but we have the opportunity to think and believe whatever we want. I said this yesterday, the ego way, it wants to fight for victory and to be righteous and to get the glory. The ego is insane. It will imagine and create an enemy just to feel important. I am evidence of the enemy that many people have chosen, and I don't get it. I really don't. Because the true way, and it's not religious. When I'm saying Christ or Jesus, it's not limited to a religion. I'm talking about the purity, the holiness, the strength, the love that we all can embody. Because the spirit that is with us, it knows that good is right, not might. Good is right.
Okay. But it's good relative or absolute?
Well, good is, well, in the absolute, all is good. Now, in the individual, in the perspective experience, good is no harm. We are here to do no harm to one another. We are here to do no harm to ourselves. We're here to create a better world. And a better world isn't filled with liars, deceivers, attackers, accusers. A better world is filled with caring people who are present and aware, paying attention to each other and what the world is doing.
So, but you're not. Here's the disconnect. Good is relative. That's why just telling everyone do it my way isn't going to sell everyone.
No one said do it my way.
But
What
that's
I'm
how it's going to be seen. That's how it's going to be interpreted.
Well, that's by short, no offense, it's by people, that would be by people who don't understand the bigger picture. And the bigger
Yes.
picture I'm pointing at is the realization that God is everything. So if we walk with everything with respect and care, right? With a clear mind, avoiding confusion and avoiding disagreements and conflict, if we walk with a clear mind with everything, well, I suspect that is where the miracle working power of Christ becomes revealed.
Yes, but that goes back to the first point. How can finite mortal beings understand the infinite mind of God?
Surrender. That's all the limited mind has to do, is to surrender.
So,
It's
if that's the case, how do we know Officer Snaps isn't surrendering to his base instincts?
he's not being, he's not present. He's living in his mind, and his mind is full of chaos. This practice of meditation, when I'm saying surrender, that's what I'm referring to. Surrendering to the state, the natural state of being in the present.
Yeah.
And
So,
when we open the gates of the mind, we allow heavenly love and peace to fill our heart.
so I understand he's not operating the way we want him to, but I wouldn't say that he's not in the moment because I can't really get him to reference anything he's said in the past before because he's always changing his mind on stuff. So he seems like he's in the moment, but his heaven isn't the same as our vision for heaven.
His, well, he's not clear. He's not clear-minded. He's literally insane. And this is I've heard this mentioned in some of the books, some of the books written by other spiritual people. They've identified the ways of the world as insane. And if you stop and you look at the ways of the world, it is completely insane. Secrets and lies, imagined fights, imagined enemies. This has no place in our modern society. But why do we entertain it? Why does it keep continuing? Why do people think they're helpless to do anything about it?
So how do we know the infinite mind of God is not insane by psychometric standards if it's infinite and we're finite?
I would counter you with, does that matter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because if our claim is that we're trying to do what God wants, we would have to be able to know what God wants first.
And that we can only guess, really. We can guess what God wants based on the information in our mind and in our heart that God allows us to discover. But if we're not paying attention to those questions, what does God want me to do with what I've learned, what I've experienced? Well, then we'll just run around fighting windmills and imagining enemies everywhere.
Okay, so what if they asked the same question, but God gave them a different message?
How do we know it came from God? I mean, that's the question each of us really needs to ask. How do I know that this thought is from God? The way I tell? Is it true? Does it have love? If it's absent truth, if it's absent love, guess what? It's probably my unreal thought. Because God is the truth. We can only know anything right now, right here. And so what I allow myself to do is to find comfort in not knowing. Because Hank, you're right. Our mind will always want an answer. We want a conclusion. We want whatever. Training the mind to be still so that the heart can open and receive the heavenly peace, the heavenly love. It's like, I can see it in my mind, the concept. It's like you open up and it comes down, and then as the love and peace comes down into the heart, it raises the mind up to higher levels of thought rather than being caught in the battles and the trenches and the darkness and all the enemies. When we've got a mind of peace and love, it tunes our mind into different frequencies of thought. And so
Okay. Here's the problem. You're almost in the same category as our friend Bunny Christ, aka Rant, because if the Bible came from God, it says things that don't sound the same as what you're interpreting God to be. For example, my favorite Bible verse, Isaiah 45:7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So the
right.
Bible itself would kind of contradict you, but then you have to say parts of the Bible are wrong. How do we tell which parts of the Bible are wrong? What algorithm do we use?
To explain the infinite, I mean, seriously, anything that's said could be inadequate for trying to describe the infinite. I agree with what you said with that verse, and this is what I've accepted. Our Creator, the source of life, it's so infinite, it creates the light and the dark. Why? For the purposes of contrast, of contradiction, so that the light and the dark can both become seen. And it's for the purpose of life. We're here to experience, I mean, all of this, the light, the dark, the good, the bad, the evil. It's all in our minds. We don't actually exist in the greatest picture. We don't exist. The only thing that is real is God. And we experience what God allows us to experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's why I don't try to enforce the absolute, because if I was honest, I would say I couldn't comprehend it. But I could still use my relativity to enforce my desires, my wants, such as ending war.
For myself, these levels of surrender, I had to surrender my family, my career. I had to surrender my want. I had to surrender my desire for those things. And in surrendering my past, eventually I got tired of my own disappointment. I've shared this before, so I surrendered my future too. Everything I live for is for God, nothing more. Now, I know God. I don't know the totality of God. I don't know the infinite God. I know God as love. I try to walk with love. I think that's what we're all supposed to do. Is that making sense?
Yes, I think if we stop tying knowledge with power and love with vanity, I mean, love with our, our vanity. I think that we realize that the appearance of good is actually what evil mainly consists of. That's why the knowledge, it's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? Because knowledge itself is neutral. People want to say that technique is neutral. That's not true. Technique will do what it's designed for. It will necessarily lead you to where it needs to, but knowledge, anyone can use it. Knowledge is the danger. So just having the knowledge of good and evil without the embrace of good, and the and also letting go of the appearance of good, and having true love in our hearts. I think that that is one of the best ways to look about it. That it's the knowledge of good and evil is actually, evil itself. You know what I mean, right? Because it's like it can trick you, right? You can use it to trick other people. You're muted, brother Jack.
Thank you. I love that. And that kind of reminded me of something else that ties to the idea that everything is God, all is good. If we go into crap, I lost where you were. Within the light and the dark, right? Oh, the knowledge of good and evil is actually evil. That's where I was thinking. We can go bouncing back and forth between the dark and the light. You know, we keep making excuses for our little sins, and then those little sins turn into habits, and then we become a beast. We can keep going back and forth between the light and the dark. But when you surrender and you realize love is the light, stay in the light, stay in love. And then evil is not even a temptation. I've broken a lot of habits with this. Okay. And, you know, without going into details, this is how we want to live, with a clear mind, having a goal and a purpose of a greater experience, a greater achievement for ourselves, knowing that we have to grow into becoming this greater achievement, and we can see why it would benefit us and others. If we have a clear mind and a good purpose, we can live with peace, live with love, and then when we have those things in our lives, a purpose and peace and love, there's no time for these nonsensical battles. I think that's what we've encountered here in the YouTube streets is perhaps many adults who have not actually done their inner child healing, and they lack a purpose. People without purpose, well, what's the old saying? An idle mind is the devil's playground. I see many people that play in the devil's playground.
Also, idle hands. I heard it both.
Yeah.
And also boredom and seriousness and disenchantment, how much they are the enemies of, you know, truth, and the ones who earnestly seek knowledge, and you know, to borrow a term from a psychonaut, you know, the felt presence of immediate experience, and they block it out, you know, because they lead you to expect things, and you know, all those things that are subject to planning are subjects to collusion and strife and decay, you know. But that sense of wonder that comes with learning something for the first time, you know, it fills you with a sense of laughter and enchantment and wonder, and you know, that is more the actual essence of things. It's not about seriousness, getting down to business and doing all this, you know, that's all just you know, nonsense, you know. Yeah.
Brother, I'm so glad you said that because you were describing me. I started the stream out all serious and I'm going to be no nonsense, and then, you know, in hindsight with that perspective, Jack, you're being foolish, right? So it's best to be at peace. He said something else there though too. I lost. I'm curious. Well, I still have faith. I don't claim to know what God is going to do with us, but it is my faith that the miracle working power of Christ, that it will flow with us. And we're going to overcome some of these past limitations. We're going to overcome some of the past battles. And I'm confident a world actually here, miracles of mind. How hard is it for someone to change their mind? Is it take a miracle for someone to change their mind? I mean, is that the only way it can happen? What are your guys' thoughts?
It doesn't take a miracle, but I assume it pretty much in relativity. So until I have more information, I would know what I need to do to change someone's mind specifically. I would need more information. I can't do it in a general sense.
Well, the reason I ask is that's been the greatest opposition from most people to me. Well, Jack, you want to talk to those people and they don't want to change. Well, how do people change their minds? Is the only way a mind is changed is through God and a miracle? Or can we help each other change minds?
Well, I think a made up mind, you know, to borrow a phrase from Shang Tzu, he said a made up mind counts as a teacher, you know, and I think that we can't go along questioning those things that we already know, but we have to seek the exploration of those things. You know, like they say, you know, you're only as young as the last time when you change your mind, you know, and you know, growth is about change, you know, but change that's linked to your purpose, as you said earlier. You know, it's gotta be linked to purpose, because growth that's just random is like, you know, I think that is, you know, just acceleration and chaos. You know? but yeah.
Hey, Denizen, how are you today? I want to welcome you, not to just dismiss what you
Well,
are.
in all seriousness, gentlemen, I've had enough of this nonsense and playing around.
I have. My prayer was earlier today, God, please offer me a different option. I want off of this. I want out of this.
Off this hurtling rock.
Well, this online nonsense I've been subjected to for 2 years. It's I'm not finding the value. I'm kind of, and today, like I said, after yesterday and this morning, seeing the restream and the gossip and the chats all about Jack and what a piece of shit he is. You know, the joy of this experience. Well, and it's not just the online stuff. Personally, I reached out to people from my past and I'm getting rejected without even a chance to have a conversation again. So I'm wondering, what does God want me to do? Because what I've been trying hasn't been working, obviously.
Maybe God doesn't care. Maybe God doesn't have a suggestion. Maybe you should think for yourself.
What do I do different then, hey?
Different. Well, I've been experimenting. Pretty much what I'm trying to do for myself is just remove all the phoniness in my own body. So that's why I don't try to make. I try not to make claims I can't support if I can avoid it. That's all I try to do, and that's some people in the other chats been just wondering how I can be on all these panels and not get kicked off. That's because I try not to be a phony and I try not to be just too argumentative. I try to be productive. I seek resolve. So I'm a good panelist.
I agree. You do a nice job of staying honest, staying authentic, and I've seen you I've seen you press and then back off because you're like, yeah, this battle's not worth it. I'll be at peace. There's some cool people.
I'm finding none of them are worth it.
Yeah. And speaking of Snafu, you're in the back. You're not coming up. You know how to reach me. When you want to have an adult conversation, you can try. And this is kind of what I'm hoping and wanting myself to do a better job of, is less of this chaos and less of this nonsense. It's not been healthy for me, probably, and I know it hasn't been real pleasant for some of the people who care too. So, but this drama, it's literally the days of our lives, right? This is the world we live in. it's insane. And these YouTube, not just the social media, but the national media, it is all
Yeah.
We got Whoa Black Betty in the back. And
Whoa, Black Betty, Ram a Lamb.
Stephen, you are definitely not welcome here. You're welcome to reach out to me personally if you want to have some conversations, but yeah, you're sick in the head. Whoa, Black Betty. Says it's not Stephen. You want to show yourself so I know who's...
Reveal yourself to me.
Yeah, let Bunny Christ on. I like him.
I sense you have a pain, a deep pain. Share your pain with me, and together we shall grow our understanding.
Black Betty?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, it's Rant.
Greetings, Bunny Christ.
Yo, what up, Rant?
Blessings to you.
Oh, God bless.
Character, man.
That's the king, the Red King.
That's Farquaad, bro. Can I make a suggestion, Jack? I think
Feel
you need
free.
to live without fear, but actually live and not just exist. Fuck the internet. Fuck these panels. Fuck all these retards. Do what you do. Honestly.
Yeah, I do that.
But like not here. I'm saying go out there in the world. You can't live in the box of the YouTube panel verse.
Right. Don't assume that this is all I do, because this is all you see. Do not assume.
Show us, Jack. Go out there and show us.
Why? Why do you think I need to
Then you can
prove?
be the example.
Hello. I don't need to be your example or anyone else's. Okay. And I don't need to prove myself to you.
Well, then you get what
anyone
you
else.
get, Jack. You get what you.
Yep. As do you. Thank you for joining.
Absolutely, because I think one of the premises I try to put out, folks, is I don't want anybody following me because I ain't leading nobody, first and foremost. If you want to join the path I'm on, then walk with me.
Yes. I love that. I actually do. I want to help people become greater leaders, because Christ was a leader. He wasn't a follower. He wasn't, obedient to the rules of others. He led his way, and he led others out of their own sin, out of their own.
That's a good question.
Destruction.
Was Jesus a shepherd or a member of the flock? I submit to the superior knowledge of the panel on this issue.
In my opinion, Jesus was a magician.
But a shepherd or one of the flock. It was both. He was everything.
Right.
he was the shepherd who was shown to us in the form that we could relate to.
So
Right?
yeah, he was of the flock and grew to be the shepherd.
Yeah.
You're,
And we
you,
are
each one of us has a shepherd in us, and that goes to the talents we want to shepherd.
That's true. Well, I've been trying to understand some of these words from the Bible and trying to apply them to myself. The idea of leading you to green pastures, still waters. I've been trying to figure out what that could mean in the physical sense.
You know what it means to most men? When a man finds green pastures and clear waters, they muddy the waters and fuck up the land. That's a dream. So you have a responsibility when you come upon that garden, and that is to replenish it. That's what everybody forgets. That's why I don't speak about myself or my forefathers. The main benefit is to go to the next generation, for that's truly what our legacy is the ability to replenish, going forth and multiplying in the dominion of being an image and likeness of the very thing that creates nature itself. We are part of nature. We are to steward nature. Same thing as being part of the flock and growing to be a shepherd.
Well, becoming one with the life we've been given. And the life we've been given, we can think small. We can think as small or as big as we want. And I have, my life experience has convinced me to really think infinite. Think beyond space, beyond time. Think beyond the world that you know. Because that really is, when we're setting goals, when we're getting clarity on what we want in the future, the goal, what that is we are envisioning a world beyond what we see. And so I remind myself, life is temporary. You know, these challenges and the rejection and the accusations I'm facing, it's all temporary. And beyond this world, beyond the world I can see is the world that I want. Now the world beyond this one, it's not just in my mind in the future, it's also through my mind in the heavens. I've been practicing this daily, many times during the day. I choose heaven. And then when I tell myself I choose heaven, my mind goes to the heavens and I seek God. And in that moment, choosing heaven, you know, I align myself with the stillness of being so that my mind can conceptualize my connection to God and everything that is. And then when I go to heaven, the earth doesn't seem so bad to me. Doesn't seem so alone. I'm telling you guys, there's something going on, something greater than me that's going on, and all of these accusations and stuff. When the truth is shown, these people have, I mean, to me, I know my innocence, and these people that have been publicly mocking me for so long, they're out of their minds.
We know that.
How do I move past it, though? This is the thing.
Well, they can't make the case. It's just an opinion, man. And they mock me too, but they're not a credible threat, since half of them can't travel far enough to possibly be one, and the other half doesn't have enough mental capacity. So I'm really not worried about them.
So there was a time that I disassociated from people, Jack. And out in public, I would take a sack and I would, in public, talk to something in the sack, pretend like I was talking to something in the sack, literally to put the front on that I was insane, because I know people don't want anything to do with insane people, and they will do what they have to get out of their way and let them go through. And the realization of this is knowing that you control what other people think of you, no matter how you do it.
That's not
If,
accurate.
yes, Jack, if you need time away from the public platform, then the people in public don't think about you anymore.
Right. But I don't control what people think. None of us do. We can offer, we can encourage, like you know. We can explain, but people got to understand on their own. And I've been trying to understand some of these people. What do they think they're doing?
That's the problem. They're not thinking.
I know. Actually, they are and they are not. They keep thinking the same things. So they're not actually thinking beyond
That's
their
normal,
thought.
though.
Right, but that's
Getting
not a
out
thing.
of that thought groove is like,
Yeah, it's not a thinking
said
process.
you asked if it was a miracle before, right? And it almost is.
Well, it shouldn't be so difficult. I mean, this is what my entire experience has shown me. It seems scary to admit you're wrong. It seems scary to change your mind, to change your behavior. It's not scary. These people are literally living with their own misery, putting on false greatness and attacking innocent people. They got to be miserable.
So it turns out it's easy for us. We have to understand at their level though. We could change our minds because we worked for years. We're mentally flexible. I work logistics. You work logistics. We have more mental flexibility than they do. So we have to understand it from their perspective. They're not used to thinking so much.
Sorry, I was engaging in the chat there.
Yeah, they're not used to thinking as much as we do, Jack. And pretty much that's the whole panel currently.
Yeah, I think most people can't think that much.
Well,
there's capacity and there's ability, and then so some of them could have the ability, but they don't have the capacity because it's filled up with other things. But some of them don't even have the ability, and they're already at capacity.
I have faith. The power of the mind is truly miraculous.
That drove me crazy until I let go of that. I don't know. I would think I was in my mid-20s, early 30s. I don't know how long you can go in your life having faith in everyone.
No.
Pearls before swine, right? Or something like that.
True. My faith is not in people. That's for sure. People have shown me I got no, yeah. I have faith in God. I have faith in the truth that I have learned and experienced. And I have faith in the design of our minds, how we are designed. If people would stop and understand, they can learn anything, especially if there's someone compassionate and understanding, willing to help them understand. But I don't like pointing this out because I pointed it out so many times, but my theory, what I think would help and would truly change the world is if people start uniting to help overcome the battles and the people who appear quite obviously trapped.
Yes, so I agree with you, but I have no way of making the people do what I want at such a grand scale. My faith's been insufficient so far. So
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the grand scale because I literally haven't been able to get it started with one, right? It's been 6 years. I couldn't find union reps to help me resolve the accusations. I couldn't find attorneys. I couldn't find witnesses to help me resolve these accusations. But I've had the faith that if people would unite together, we can end wars. We don't have to pick sides in the battles. We just speak with each other with compassion. And Snafu, Margot, you guys are confused. You can rethink the things that you've been saying and doing. It's making you look very poorly. I don't know.
I'm willing to try something easier.
Who would you start? Where would you start?
Sorry. The machine lies is making music, so maybe there.
You know what I'm trying to do? Let go.
It's honestly, that's what I've been learning. And hey, Lizard Tree, thank you. I felt like what I've been dealing with has been a lot. I actually feel like I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. But
could be way worse.
Yeah.
You could be drinking again. I mean, it's a hell of an accomplishment just not to do that, in my opinion.
Well, there was honestly, when I was losing everything, Margot wants to think that the neighbors were in danger and all this, but there was a couple days where I couldn't find any logical reason to continue. And as a matter of fact, it made the logic was heavy on the side of ending myself. So I faced a lot of things. And to freak, this is a crazy part of my story. I found God. Actually, I found within myself the belief and the faith that I could do more. It eventually led me to a devotion to God. But when I found the faith and I started feeling love, everyone and everything, it was nuts. Snafu, you are clearly not welcome here. Oh. But hey,
go to Illumitami. He's doing something Officer Snaps. So he'll host you for a little bit. Then it'll be over.
He might. He might. And these panels and YouTube, the social media, it sure does give those ego junkies their chemical rush, right? Ooh, I got a jab in on Jack. Ooh, I got a nasty one there.
Yeah, they like their self-esteem juice, don't they?
We all do. But if we don't create the true self-worth, we imagine battles, right? We're fighting windmills. we're not really accomplishing a lot in our lives. And I was guilty of that in my past in different ways. I was taking on the postal bosses, taking on the managers and the supervisors, and that was my battle. Yeah, there was a little bit of good that was being done. But you know what? I was still ignorant of the homelessness, the poverty. I was still ignorant of the wars that were going on. We don't have to fight imagined battles. Hey, I can understand that. What it was that stopped me. I don't know that story. The freak, though, I admired some conversations with some conversation attempts I've seen with several of you and Mr. Paul Unslaved. Another character, man. Where do we go from here? Miracles of the mind?
Well, I think the mind itself is primarily a miracle. You know, I talk about that one a lot. You know, the mind is unexplained force in this world, you know, that only you know, few can really begin to try to explain the origins of, you know, such a capacity, you know, itself, or just a capacity for life, you know, that kind of is related to this thing called mind, you know, and it may be contained within life, or maybe greater than this thing called life, you know, this thing called mind. Because as somebody said earlier, they said the mind of God, even though I disagree with the framing, you know what I mean? Here, let me
Right.
give this guy the link there. But yeah,
Oops.
the framing for
I got it. Thank you.
the mind and God, I think is sort of a Platonic notion, you know, that that God has something, that God could be subjected to something called mind, as many people think of mind as something outside of themselves. You know, nothing exists outside of God, right? So the anthropocentrism of using the term mind of God, you know, I think is pretty interesting, you know, to begin with. But then where is mind, you know, and I think we have to, you know, ultimately say that you know, you know, as they say, a miracle is a disruption of natural laws, right? To quote Hume, well, if natural laws can't explain something, it's equally justified to say it may be miraculous. You know, its existence may be miraculous, and life and mind are such things, really. You know that they, you know, it could be that they're, you know, they're totally miraculous. You know, their existence is totally unaccounted for, you know, beyond our knowledge, right?
I love that adjustment correction you offered. The mind of God. Yeah, it's beyond mind. It's like the source of intelligence. It's the knower that allows the known to be discovered. It's a mystery. And honestly, what I see happening in this world today, it's taken generations and generations of traditions and exploitation, but has brought us to this world that we know of today. I do trust there is a spiritual revival that's happening at this time, similar but different than times in the past. And I don't mean a religious revival, but there is many people finding religion and discussing religion, at least in my experience, a little more than the past. Life, man. Life is a mystery. And our minds, they are a miracle. The mind that we hold, though, if we are not honest, it's self-punishing and it brings us misery and hell.
Agreed.
Hey, welcome, Zach. Good to
As
see you.
is hell.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. Jack, I just wanted to come on to encourage you because I see that you're down today. Normally, when I jump in your stream, since I found out about it, you've got a high energy level and you're loving life. But I know a little bit about what's going on because I caught about 5 minutes of your stream yesterday, and there was a woman kind of dragging you down from your past mistakes. And Jack, I've been mystified by what's going on in your streams usually when I come in because I'm like, okay, he doesn't have the biggest audience. Why are there so many haters just constantly in his channel harassing him? Like, isn't there some other thing for these people to do other than go bother Jack every day? You guys, listen, I don't know Jack, but I've met him in the flesh 2 or 3 times. He's come out when I have events in Spokane. If you guys don't know what I do, I like to raise awareness about current events and tyranny and things that need to be shut down. Jack's out in Spokane where Gonzaga is, a Jesuit university. You're not a bad person because you go to a Jesuit university, but there are bad Jesuits. And when I'm on that campus, we've had people walk by and say, you know what? It's good you're out here because you're right. There are some bad apples in our camp and people need to know about it. So anyway, Jack, from what I know about him, is, a warm individual, open-minded, wants to have conversations, wants to see a better world. I don't know about Jack's past. I learned about it yesterday. I learned from listening to the woman trying to drag him down and what Jack said. And Jack was honest about it. He said, yeah, I used to have a drinking problem. I used to be a bad example in front of my son. Okay. That might be true, but why are we in here like harping on about Jack's past? Shouldn't we be
They're
happy that
confronting
Jack's
themselves,
out here trying
Zach.
to put out a better message? Now, listen, Jack, maybe you are doing this, but there are a lot of people who are, on the bottle and destroying their lives and their families' lives. My dad's brother right now, missing in action for over 3 years. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He became homeless in Portland. I'm pretty sure he's dead. And if he is dead, RIP to him. But it was alcohol that destroyed his life. Something I teach about is gematria and how alcohol equates to 33. And it's not an accident that the feds gave it to us in 1933 when they ended prohibition. They gave it to us in a dark moment when people's lives were falling apart because of the purposeful destruction of the economy, which destroyed a lot of people's agricultural business. And anyway, I'm going to get into all that. But the point is, for all of you guys that just come in here every day and hate on Jack, even if Jack is a bad guy and a villain, I don't see that's what he's putting out into the world, though. I see him out here trying to put out a positive message. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not mad at Jack's message, but in a way, Jack, here's a little real feedback. Don't let this take you down, but it was a big song in the 60s. Everybody knows it. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. Everyone knows this song. Love is important. And it's sad. You see on the internet, there is more hate and hatred and haterism in the world than love. So, yeah, the world would be a lot better place if there was more love. So, in a way, we're right to be saying, yeah, the world does need more love. But in a way, it's already also been done. I almost think what might be more powerful, Jack, is if you spent a segment of every show talking about bad Jack in the past and how you overcame that. And maybe you have been doing that, but I think there's a lot of people that might connect with that because they might be like, oh, man, he's talking about my life right now. I need to get to where positive Jack is. So, anyway, and by the way, Paul, who's probably out there watching right now, what's wrong with you, Paul? Come on, man. Paul, what's wrong with you? You're the smartest guy on the world. You're the smartest guy in the whole world, as we all know. You got it all figured out. Why do you need to be in Jack's stream every day hating on him? I don't even understand it. I reached out to you when I didn't know who you were and tried to, I said, hey, like, you want to work together? You want to collaborate? And you came at me with nothing but haterism. Paul, we can't all hobo around and find an empty building in the woods. And I mean, what if we were all doing that? There's not enough empty building in the woods for us all to hobo around and find. I mean, that's not going to save the world either. So anyway, I just wanted to drop in real quick. Jack, don't let all the haters drag you down. Trust me. I got 11 years of haters just trying to drag me down every day. And it does get annoying. I know how it feels. It does make you want to quit. It's like, God, is this all that exists out here? Is this hater? But I'm telling you, just got to, just like this. So anyway, I got things to do, but I just want to jump in and out. I felt bad that you were having the blues today. Stay with the positive energy. But I do think that might be a nice component to your show. More often talk about bad Jack and how you overcame it. I think there's a lot of people that could use that in the world. So
Thank you. Respect to you. And I truly appreciate that, man. Genuinely.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Have a good day, all.
You as well. And yeah, for those interested in gematria, check out Zach. He does some great stuff, and he is pulling out a lot of patterns. Sincerely, I don't like bearing my frustration. Obviously, though, it's a part of my experience, and I chose to share it. Thank you.
There we
Thank
go. We have someone that knows Jack in real life that doesn't hate him on the stream to be recorded. I think we can end the show now.
Burn that man. Who was that man? He's a criminal.
Man, hey, thank you. This life, it is frustrating, right? Not just mine. All of our lives are frustrating. They can be frustrating. But if we move beyond the frustrations, there's a world that's greater than the one we've experienced, and it's waiting for us to create. It's waiting for us to share and imagine, create, and share together. The greater world, it's there for us. I never used to believe a greater world existed until I started looking for the greater world. And there is so many reasons to be hopeful. What Zach offered, I do have some lessons, and I was a stupid man in my past. I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't hurt people, not the way I've been described, but I have found because of my situation and my circumstances, I have found so many amazing people, amazing groups, amazing stories of people in this world that are sharing this time with us. That honestly is what gives me so much hope. I want to connect with others who believe that we're going to change this world because it's crying out for it. And I'm of the belief that God has given us everything we need to get along. We got the gift of mind, the power of heart, and the power of wisdom. I don't know. Oh, hey, where I was going with this, though, is the good news, right? Things can be challenging. Things can be tough. This today is another reminder for me. We don't want to lose our faith. There's no point in losing faith. It just makes us feel bad.
Eventually, the Shamrock Shake will return to McDonald's.
I was going to say if we're lucky, but no, that's chemicals and dyes and who knows what the hell's in that stuff.
Green dye is the most flavorful one, Jack.
I know a good place to get spearmint. We can make our own.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You know, I imagine the future, people are going to be looking back into history and they'll be looking at what's being sold to us as food in the shelves at these drive-throughs, and they're going to be looking back at this time of history and before saying, how the hell did we survive?
Yeah.
How the hell did we make it through that?
The radioactivity is what, that boggles my mind. It must, from what I understand about physics and medicine, what I've been taught by the so-called authorities and knowledge, it must affect my body, It must have. I couldn't possibly escape the effects of all the radioactivity, especially where I live. And imagine if you're in Japan or Ukraine or something like that,
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure where you're at, but the effects of all of these industries, all of these military bases, all of these chemical factories and stuff, dude,
Right.
These corporations are destroying the environment.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything. The relationship between man and woman, the relationship between brother and brother, the relationship between father and son, all of our natural resources, the very concept of cooperation itself. I mean, truth, justice, anything that they can get their hands on and destroy. It's like a cancer.
It is. I've been watching a lot of history too. The exploitation and the corruption of our nation. I mean, private wealth had really taken over America, I think, even before the 1800s. Some of these individual private families that profited from the slave trade, that profited from heroin sales, tied to the British Empire and the wealth from the other place. This land has been the world we were born into. What a gift. Where my mind went was initially the world we were born into is so corrupted and backwards and toxic. But the other side of that, my mind went to what Machine Lies offered back earlier about the power of mind, the miracle of mind, the gift of discovery, the gift of discovering new information, the joy of sharing helpful information. Those are the true treasures, and they're overlooked by the wealthy and the powerful and the prideful. Any thoughts? I'm feeling like maybe time to wrap up in a good way.
I feel we had a productive show.
I do as well. Thank you, Hank. Sincerely, all of you. Thank you. But I do feel like wrapping up. Anything parting, Hank? Blessings to you, brother. Boy, thank you. Denizen, Machine Lies, thank you.
You're
Respect.
welcome. Thanks for always letting me up.
I appreciate you. I really do. There's several of you who have got great methods of communication where you kind of stay back, but when you jump in, you've got something. And I'm learning to hopefully do better about that myself as well. So thank you for joining. I'm going to bounce you out. Machine Lies.
Peace.
Yeah, I heard some sullen thoughts about, I guess, humanity and about people. People are saying that you can't trust people, that it's not that people have let us down, but ultimately, all we really have is other people. So I think that it's important to realize that if we don't build on the people, we build on mud. So we have to trust each other, at least build a foundation that's based on trust with others. So whether that's so obviously that has to be built with people that want to share that, right? So that is a good place to start for sure. But there's that Promethean impulse that blames God and nature and sort of wants the solution, and sort of sandwiches man between these two things, nature and technology, where we're gonna rise above nature. But the real thing is that nature is we're made of the clay of this earth, so we need to become humble and so we need to escape that Promethean urge. But yeah, thank you guys for being here with us. Blessings. And I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll talk to you, Jack, and all you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys. Blessings.
Respect, brother. Thank you again, sincerely. All who joined today here on the panel, in the chat, at a later time, sincerely, blessings to all of you. I love where Machine Lies pointed out. It's real easy for us, and thank you, sincerely. I don't mean, when I tell my story, I don't mean to leave out, it's hard to be accurate with perspectives because there's always multiple sides, multiple ways to tell a story. Today in the chat online, I was reminded and encouraged, and I sincerely want to thank all of you for that, because the reality is none of us are alone. It feels like we're alone sometimes in this world because the problems in life are real, right? The pains we face are real. The challenges are real. But how much power do we give to the problems, to the pain? How much power do we give to the limitations, to the past? That power is ours to give. Okay? The faith, we can have faith in problems, we can have faith in failures, we can have faith in our prideful, imagined thoughts. What I found the best way to have faith is just to know who you are in the present time, right now. Because if you can know who you are in the present time, right now, despite the world being apart and away from you, you can find peace. And peace, it really is the greatest goal. I encourage you, become clear on what you want, why you want it. If you set the goal for peace in your heart, know that it's worth it. Sincerely, it's so obvious. Just spend a couple of minutes and think about it. What would my life be like if I had more peace, more joy, more self-confidence, more self-worth? Ask Source. Go to the highest source of knowledge that you can connect to for the answers, because it's the truthful answers we want. Once we get those truthful answers of what I want from here and now, and this is the reason I want to experience this, through the power of God, through the willingness of our efforts, our investments of time, attention, and that might require a sacrifice. Might require sacrifice and letting go of some old habits, some old ideas, some old patterns of thought. It shouldn't take a miracle for you to change your mind. It should not take a miracle for you to change your mind, when the goal of changing your mind is to turn to greater things. If you can find the value in the greater things, you can discover the greater world that's beyond the world that you've already known. And that, brothers and sisters, that could lead you to the heavenly realms, the thoughts of God, of love, of wholeness, of perfection, of divinity, of peace. Brothers and sisters, thank you again, sincerely. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Till next time, God bless us all. Thank you again.